playing for Team Alberta would have been 3 or 4 years ago, and the feeling of getting all the flag shirts, jerseys, it felt pretty surreal.
Welcome to episode 341 of Alberta Dugout Stories, the podcast. I'm Joe McFarland. Time to get back to the regular routine, but before we get there, just a big thank you for your patience with no news last week, as my family had a wonderful trip out to BC for some downtime. We really appreciate you still tuning into last week's show, even if it was missing this opening bit. Now, most of the news is actually centered around the WCBL and its upcoming All-Star game. The rosters were released, and Jamie Campbell came through Saskatchewan for a few games with his son. If you haven't already, check out Ian's great stories on both of those items on Alberta and Saskatchewan dugoutstories.com. Also new, just in the last day or two, is the Home Run Derby participants. We have a story on both sites previewing who the long ball launchers will be, including friends of the show, Nash Kroll, Aiden Macris, and Tyler Van Este. And speaking of the All-Star game, we have a couple of players heading to it coming up on the show in a few minutes with Zane Skansi of the Okotoks Dawgs and Ethan Menard of the Saskatoon Berries. Before we get there, it's All-Star Week in Major League Baseball, so let's go to the big leagues with a quick roundup of the three big storylines that we've been following. Edmonton's Eric Sabrowski continues to be outstanding out of the bullpen for the Cleveland Guardians. The Absolute Human Performance alum is now sporting a 1.17 ERA in 7 appearances. He's also struck out 13 in 7+ innings of work. I think it's safe to say he's back and ready to stick around for the long haul. Calgary's Michael Soroka headed into the All-Star break, taking a couple of losses for the Washington Nationals, including an ugly one against Boston July 4th. He recovered all right with a start on July 10th against St. Louis, allowing 2 runs on 4 hits and 2 walks with 4 strikeouts and 4 innings of work. Soroka says it's about moving forward, taking the good and leaving the bad, trusting the process, and having a better second half of the season. And former Okotoks Dawgs hurler Andrew Kittredge has been a workhorse after coming off the injured list in mid-May. The right-hander is now 1-1 with a 4.01 ERA in 24 games for the Baltimore Orioles, striking out 23 in 24+ innings of work. To the minors we go, and no shortage of things to talk about there either, so let's keep it to a top 3 this week. Congratulations first off to Calgary's Cohen Aiken on being named a Minor League Baseball Player of the Week and the Canadian Baseball Network's Minor League Player of the Week. He's back with Baltimore's High A team in Aberdeen, where he allowed no runs, no hits, and no walks while striking out 6 in 5 innings of relief work as the Ironbirds beat Jersey Shore 3-1 last Friday night. St. Albert's Eric Hartman celebrated Canada Day by coming off the IL after he was sidelined for about a month. The Dawgs Academy and Okotoks Dawgs alum went on a 4-game streak of collecting extra base hits and is now slashing .221 with 3 homers and 22 RBI, and the most impressive stat of all, 29 stolen bases. And the Tristan Peters watch continues. The Dawgs product was a minor league player of the month for June, but has cooled off a bit in July, hitting .200 with a homer and 3 RBI in 10 games for the AAA Durham Bulls. Everyone's holding their breath still, hoping that he gets the call up to the Tampa Bay Rays. Sticking with the big leagues, and the MLB draft was held Sunday and Monday with 20 rounds and 615 selections made. This year wasn't as fruitful for Alberta or the WCBL as last year, with 4 players getting called and 3 others signing free agent deals over the last couple of days. The Okotoks Dawgs were the main benefactors of the draft, with Tim Piazentine going to Toronto, Ty Doucette heading to Cincinnati, Tyrell Chadwick drafted by Colorado, and Cannon Reeder being chosen by Pittsburgh. Meantime, former Edmonton prospect Johnny McGill signed almost immediately after the draft with the Los Angeles Angels, while Calgary Bucks and Edmonton Riverhawks star Tom Poole has signed with the Tampa Bay Rays. Then a move that had been speculated for a while happened late Wednesday. The New York Yankees had been strongly interested in Vauxhall Academy and Sylvan Lake Gulls alum Ty Boudreau. That signing has come to fruition, with the hurler making the announcement on Instagram. Congratulations to everyone who will be starting their pro baseball journeys. On a side note, I do have a theory on why it wasn't the bonanza that it was in 2024, where we saw 13 players with WCBL affiliations and 5 Albertans being taken, and weirdly it has something to do with the pandemic. A lot of guys who would have spent their JUCO years here in 2020 and 2021 would have just wrapped up their junior or senior years in college, so we didn't really get a lot of those mentions that we normally would. I think it might be an anomaly, but we won't know for sure until next year. In other news, a big congratulations to Dawgs Academy Black for winning yet another tournament. This time it was the Palouse Summer Series, where they are now 3-time defending champions. The program says it was a banner year for the squad, winning 6 of 7 major tournaments, including Best of the West and Perfect Game 18U World Series. Meantime, the Dawgs 18U Red Squad was also down south over the weekend, where they finished their season by capturing the Northwest Diamond Series Championship in Oregon. Congratulations to the Medicine Hat Junior Mavericks on becoming provincial intermediate Little League champions. They're now at Nationals in Kingston, Ontario, and national tournaments are also being held here in Alberta over the next month, including the Senior League, which is now underway in Calgary, while the Junior League gets going July 21st in Lethbridge. Congratulations to the first 50 players named to the Canadian Future Showcase in Toronto. That annual event gets going in mid-September. A few Albertans were named, including Gabe Fink, Quincy Jenkins, Zach McDonald, Cohen Miller, Tay Thierman, Easton Katura, and Louis Charles LaRouche. The schedule for the Western Canada Prospect Series is now out. St. Albert will play host to the annual tournament August 29th to September 1st, featuring 14U and 16U teams representing Alberta, BC, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. And finally, we'd like to take a moment to honor Don Seaman, who passed away recently at the age of 99. He's being remembered as a baseball visionary and the primary donor in the construction of Seaman Stadium and Duvernay Fieldhouse in Okotoks. In many interviews, Seaman has said the Dawgs projects were his best investments, which John Arcandia says is quite the compliment coming from a guy who's had a lifetime of pretty good investments. The Dawgs honored Seaman earlier on in the season and will do so again on Friday. Our thoughts and love go out to everyone who knew and loved Don Seaman. We'll stay in Okotoks now and head onto the field for another couple of editions of In the Dugout. Our Ian Wilson was at Seaman Stadium for a battle of the Titans between the league-leading Saskatoon Berries and the West-leading Dawgs, where he caught up with a pair of All-Stars. We'll start things off with Zane Skansi of the Dawgs, who's been a model of consistency. The Gig Harbor native and Campbellsville University seniors hitting .361 with 8 home runs and 33 RBI in 32 games this season, also stealing 18 bases.
Zane, actually, let's start origin story. Tell me, let's go way back. Tell me just how you got into baseball in the first place.
Yeah, well, I grew up playing Little League from a young age, T-ball, since I was 5, and fell in love with it right away. I played football, basketball, baseball in high school, but ultimately picked to pursue baseball further on, so yeah.
And then how did you end up coming to Okotoks? What was the connection? How did you get recruited here?
So I transferred from Creighton to Campbellsville University in Kentucky, and Brody Forno, Ryan McFarland, Chase Tucker, they're all here last year, and they told me that it was a great place to come play, so yeah. I thought I should try it out, and I love it so far. So
yeah, expand on that a bit. Just the impressions. Have you played in front of like crowds like this or stadiums like this before? Was this a new experience?
So I played with Thunder Bay Border Cats in Thunder Bay, Ontario the past 2 summers, and we got probably at the most 3,000 fans. So when I came here, started opening night, and there was probably 7,000 to 8,000 fans. It was pretty crazy. I was a little nervous, but when the first pitch goes, it's just baseball at that point. But no, it's been a blast. It's been fun, and been loving it.
And just tell me about the season you're having, because you're putting up some nice numbers. You may not be like at the top of leaderboards of the stats, but you're like right there.
Yeah.
You're hitting for contact, hitting for power, getting some steals in there. What's working well for you?
Yeah, I think just seeing the ball at the plate, hunting the heater. Recently, I feel like I've been getting a lot of off speed, so I've been trying to work on that. But yeah, it's been fun just trying to get my swing off, put my best swing on the ball, and just play baseball, and it's been really fun.
Nice. And then congratulations, you're an All-Star.
Yeah.
What was that experience like, and how did you find out?
I found out from the social media post, actually, and then they announced it at the game the next day. So, but it's fun, me, Barry, Seth. There's a couple that won't be able to be there, sadly, but it's gonna be really fun, and it's my first one in this league, so. I heard it's a big event, so it should be a really good time.
Yeah, I think they put on a great show here, so I think you'll have a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Just some fun ones for you. Favorite baseball food?
Baseball food.
Yeah.
Ooh. I like poutine since I've been to Canada, I'll admit. But probably say your ballpark hot dog. Can't go wrong with that. Yeah, it's probably my go-to.
Favorite baseball movie?
Baseball movie, probably Sandlot. Sandlot 1 and 2, definitely.
Yeah, the second one too. Yeah, throw it in there. Awesome. Favorite MLB player?
MLB player. Right now, it's got to be Cal Raleigh. I'm a Seattle kid, so I love the Mariners, and Cal Raleigh's been having a year. So
you're preaching to the converted. I'm a big Mariner fan myself.
No way.
So, yeah, I was really enjoyed the Derby last night.
Oh, it was so much fun. Yeah.
And then the favorite stadium that you've played in or like been to watch a game at?
Yeah, played in probably PK Park, University of Oregon. That was really cool. Yeah. And then coolest park I've been to. I love T-Mobile, obviously. Yeah. Let's see, what's another one? I've been to the Rogers Center one time. That was super cool in Toronto. So I'd say those two are probably my favorite.
And any goals for the rest of the summer here? I mean, you guys are in first in the West, playing a pretty good game, good team tonight.
Yep.
What do you want to see down the stretch for you?
Ultimately, we want a championship. We know it's really competitive and it's not going to be easy, so we got to play our best ball when it matters. But I think everybody has their eyes on the championship, obviously the four-peat, and that's the way we all want it to end. So,
last question for you: what does the game of baseball mean to you?
It means everything to me. I've learned many things through the game of baseball, not just on the field, but like about life, about struggle and failure, and how to deal with that. And I think it goes hand in hand with baseball and life, and you can learn a lot from the two. So.
Ian then headed over to the visitors' dugout to chat with Saskatoon Berries slugger Ethan Menard. The Louisiana native and University of Texas Tyler senior is hitting .426 with 9 homers, 29 RBI, and 6 stolen bases in just 23 games this season for a Berries team that, as expected, is looking like an absolute behemoth.
Ethan, first question. This is the first trip for the Berries to Seaman Stadium. Initial thoughts on the atmosphere and just maybe a budding rivalry with this team.
Yeah, I love it. We're used to a lot of fans, but they really packed it out tonight. It was awesome to see. Knowing that it was going to be a top team matchup, it was just awesome. Guys were excited to have a little crowd going. Atmosphere's really nice, so it was cool.
Yeah. Origin story. Well, let's go way back machine. How did you get into baseball in the first place?
As long as I can remember, I've had a bat and ball in my hand. My dad worked hard whenever I was a kid, but he was big baseball, so my mom was always batting ball in the yard with me while he was at work, and then just nonstop from there.
Yeah. You're a Louisiana guy. How does a guy from Louisiana end up in Saskatoon last year and this year?
Because Joe's good at what he does.
How did he? Was it him who found you?
Yes, sir. He reached out to a bunch of the guys a bunch of the coaches in our conference, and so the Lone Star Conference has a good bit of guys up here in general. And then, I mean, the guys that are on the Berries from there just having success. So it's nice to see.
Yeah. This is your second year as an All-Star. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
What does it mean to you to just to be an All-Star not once but twice?
And I'm just thankful. I wouldn't have the opportunity without Joe, the owners, and like Steve Hildebrand, like having our backs and supporting us so much. I mean, it's not easy to come out here and just have success. But the Berries, what they do behind the scenes, just helps with that. The support, whether I need a little extra, go to the chiropractor or something, they'll find a way to help get it done. And so it's just the nonstop support is really what gets it there, and it's just from a state of gratefulness, thankfulness.
You're competing in the home run derby this year. You saw Carter Beck do it last year. One of your teammates, Ethan Murdoch, did it a couple of years ago. Have you been picking their brains? What's the process going into that?
A little bit. Their big notes were just don't get worn out in the first round. Man, just they said just have fun with it. Seeing those guys and watching videos of what they did, and then seeing Carter Beck do it last year, it was awesome. So just try to keep that standard of what they had.
Yeah. Talk to me about this team and this season, because it just seems like you guys can't lose. It's hard for you guys to lose, and sometimes you see teams win a lot of games. They kind of get some bad habits going, but just from watching tonight, you guys just look relentless out there. Definitely at the plate, but just expand on what you're seeing.
I described this a couple of days ago, I think, to somebody. It was nonstop state of belief, just knowing that no matter the deficit, no matter the score, no matter if we're up, we're always in a place to win a baseball game. And, I mean, I was just talking to Coach Joe. That's why there's 9 innings in a baseball game. If there were less, then it'd be tougher. If there were more, it'd be easier. But 9 innings is 9 innings. It's not over till that last out's recorded. So
we'll finish off with some fun ones. Favorite ballpark food?
Oh, man. I'm a big hot dog guy. I just like it simple. So
What are you putting on your hot dog?
It depends on the park. Back home, probably a little chili and cheese dog. Over here, probably mustard, ketchup, relish.
Oh, there you go. Load it up.
Yes, sir.
Favorite baseball movie?
That's tough for me. I mean, I grew up just loving Sandlot as a kid, but I really like Angels in the Outfield. That's a good one for me.
Oh, gosh. Well, that's a little off the board, but I like that pick. Yeah. Favorite MLB player?
I always loved Bryce Harper. Just the living up to the hype and not letting it get to him. Now, he does some outlandish stuff, but I like the way he plays the game besides that. Really hard with a lot of aggression.
Yeah. And last question for you. What does the game of baseball mean to you?
Everything. It's always been there for me through the ups and downs in life, so I've just tried to give it what it's given me, and it's given back good. And as long as I keep giving good and giving my full effort and doing that, and I think that it's just something you can't really replace in life for sure. That it goes God and baseball, God family baseball for sure. So awesome. It's up there for me.
Our next couple of guests will both be heading to St. John's in just a few weeks for the Canada Summer Games. We'll start things off with Sherwood Park's Brooke Forslund. She's been rising up the ranks with the female baseball program for a while now, winning the Baseball Alberta 14U Girls Player of the Year back in 2022. Now 16, she's been named to the Canada Games roster as well as the 19U and the Open roster. Forslund will have to miss the 19U event as she's heading to softball nationals this year, a sport that she actually just recently picked up. We had a great conversation about her journey, future travels, and more. Here is Brooke Forslund.
Brooke, thank you so much for joining us here on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
What a summer you have planned. You have at least 3 big events, probably more that I don't even know about, but not the least of which I think has to be the Canada Summer Games. How excited are you for that one in particular?
Yeah, I'm very excited to go and just kind of like be a part of a talented team and like just experience the surreal moments of everything with the village and just like watching other sports. It'll be awesome.
You mentioned the team, and I know you've been playing with a lot of those girls for a few years now. What makes that squad so special and so unique in your eyes?
I think it's just like, let alone like all the talent, but just like how well we're all bonded and like there's no drama. Everyone just gets along so well, and we're able to just play as one as a team.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned the fact that this is such a unique experience because it's not just your regular baseball tournament or softball tournament. This is like all the different sports. You've got the Athletes Village. Is there anything in particular looking at it that you're super excited about? Like maybe it's a particular sport that you wouldn't mind checking out, or just the being able to meet different people from different parts of the country. What exactly do you have penciled in as maybe something you're most excited about?
Kind of unexpected, but I'm kind of excited to see what sailing could be. I've never ever heard of that or seen that before, and just kind of interests me.
Absolutely. This is also a landmark event for female baseball. It's the first time that it's being included in the Canada Summer Games. What's that mean to you, knowing that you're going to be part of the first Team Alberta?
I think that just means so much. It's just such a big major stepping stone in woman and female baseball history, and just really will take it to the next level.
For sure. You're also repping Alberta at the Women's Open Championship in August in Quebec. What's it like, though, in your eyes, getting to put on the blue, white, and gold of Alberta and rep the Bighorn?
It's just such a huge honor to be part of a team that has people from Team Canada, and the talent on that team is incredible and just feels amazing.
Absolutely. Not only is the Women's Open a big tournament, but it's also one that kind of gets you onto that radar for Baseball Canada's women's national team. Have you started dreaming of repping the Maple Leaf one day and what that might mean to you?
Yeah, that would be that's the major dream, to make Team Canada. just like I think it would mean the world just to wear that maple leaf and just be able to show off my talent.
For sure. Speaking of the horns, there's a great picture of you that I've seen on Instagram, you rocking the horns while you're on base. How fun is it to be able to do something like that, or even just the team camaraderie that you have, being able to play and rep a brand like that, so to speak?
Yeah, it's amazing. Just like to be able to smash a double and just hit that celly, it's honestly one of the best feelings.
Fantastic. You're not just a baseball player, but you're also going to nationals this summer for softball. How fun is that experience going to be for you?
Yeah, it's going to be a really fun experience. It's my first year doing softball, so I'm kind of new to the whole softball realm. But yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Tell us about how you got into softball.
So I've always wanted to play baseball after high school, but there's not a lot of opportunities for female in baseball, so I decided to switch over this year in hopes of getting that college scholarship.
Is there anybody that you look to? Because I'll use an example. We've talked to her in the past, and in that being Zoe Hicks. She does both at the national level. Are there players or athletes or others that you look to and go, hey, maybe I can balance both sports at the same time?
Yeah, I was also saw Zoe Hicks, and just it's really cool how she can do both. I was actually at Canada Cup this weekend, and I got to see her play, and just her talent is what I kind of inspire to be.
Very cool. Tell us a little bit about the challenge of playing both sports. What's the toughest part of trying to switch between the two?
I think it's just the hitting, where the ball comes out of the hand is the most difficult part. It's just being able to transfer to that really low to the really high, and that's kind of hard.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Let's talk about your baseball past here a little bit, Brooke. How'd you get into baseball and softball in the first place?
Yeah, so my older brother was always a baseball player, and I just grew up on the bench being the bat girl, and he was kind of my role model when I joined baseball, so that's why I joined baseball instead of softball.
Very cool. Was it all ball all the time for you, or do you play other sports as well?
Yeah, it was sometimes hockey and basketball, but I quit those just to pursue baseball full time.
Was there a moment in time where you realized that was the sport that you really wanted to try and chase?
Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago. I kind of just realized my skill in baseball is just higher than other sports, and I have a more chance of becoming a successful player in the baseball.
Mm-hmm. A couple of years ago, speaking of, you're the 14U Baseball Alberta Player of the Year. What did that award mean to you?
It honestly meant the world, just to go up on the stage and receive the award in front of everyone and just kind of see all my hard work pay off.
For sure. Looking back on the young baseball career to this point, do you have a favorite memory or moment that stands out where you had to take that step back and go, I can't believe I get to do this?
Yeah, I think kind of just every year, honestly, walking into opening ceremonies and just seeing all the fans and all the teams from different provinces is just kind of surreal to be a part of that.
For sure. On the flip side, we all know baseball is a game of failure. So what's been maybe the biggest challenge or hurdle that you've had to overcome?
I haven't had too many, but I would say just putting in that extra step and pushing through when it's you're on day 5 of a tournament and you just want to pass out in bed, but you just have to get up and keep going.
For sure. That can definitely be a challenge. A few fun ones for you, Brooke, before we let you go. First off, what's your favorite food that you get at the baseball stadium when you're there as a fan?
Poutine, I would say.
Oh, do you like just standard poutine, or do you like the weird ones? I'm a big fan of pierogi poutine as an example, but do you got a favorite one?
No, I think just the regular poutine.
Classic as always. What's your favorite baseball movie?
Sandlot.
That's a fantastic one. And finally, who's your baseball idol? Maybe it's a pro player, maybe it's a college player. Who's that person that you got a poster up on the wall of, for example?
I think Jose Altuve, just because he's so small and he's got so much power.
It's amazing to see the pictures of Altuve standing next to Aaron Judge and just like, how did these two athletes play in the same sport? It's nutty to me. Absolutely. A couple final ones before we let you go, Brooke. First off, for those young girls who are thinking about getting into baseball or are maybe dreaming of maybe one day being in your shoes, what's that one piece of advice or those words of wisdom that you'd love to impart upon them?
Just, you always got to work hard, and especially work hard when no one's watching. Don't be afraid to do that. I feel like a lot of people work hard to show other people, but it's like the work you do when no one's watching that's really most important.
Absolutely. And the final one we ask everybody, what does the game of baseball mean to you?
It means everything. I've grown up playing it for the past years. It's just like it's all I've done, and it's just like, it's like the biggest part of my life.
Well, it's been great getting a chance to hear a little bit about your journey that is continuing to unfold on a seems like daily basis, Brooke. Congratulations on all the success you've had to this point. Continued success with Baseball Alberta, with your softball team, and everything else you got in front of you. And again, thank you so much for joining us here on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And our final guest is also going to the Canada Summer Games, albeit with the men's roster. Catcher Stone Foster is from Calgary and now plays for Weber Academy, who's won a few tournaments over the past few weeks, including their own Canada Day event. He's excited for the opportunity to once again rep the blue, gold, and white of Alberta while getting exposure for some bigger events down the line. Here's our conversation with Stone Foster.
Stone, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Really excited to be part of this.
Let's start with the latest piece of news for you. You've been named to Team Alberta for the Canada Summer Games. How excited are you for that opportunity?
I'm very excited for this opportunity. It's just it'll be a great experience for us and the whole province of Alberta to go out and play in Newfoundland. It'll be really good.
You ever been out in that direction?
No, I haven't, which is it's weird because that's where most of my family is from, but I've never been out to Newfoundland before, so it'll be good to see where most of my family grew up.
So are you going to be maybe checking in with some old family members maybe, and almost a home away from home in a sense, if you can get a few of them to show up for a few games?
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully I get to check in and see how everyone's doing. That would be great.
Absolutely. Going into a big tournament like that, I'm always curious, do you have any goals or expectations of yourself? Obviously, everybody wants to win a gold medal, but do you have any expectations of your role with the team or how you want to contribute?
Well, I'm going in as an overager, so I just want to sort of be a leader and set the tone for how I want the rest of the team to play. And I think I just want to work my hardest. No really statistical goals, but as you said, it would be amazing to walk away with a gold medal there. But yeah, just sort of, be a leader on that team.
Mm-hmm. You've repped Alberta before, so what's maybe the main message that you've been thinking about in your head as you're looking forward to maybe meeting up with some of the younger talent in the province and saying, hey, here's how we do things for the Bighorns?
Well, I think it's just, it's exactly that, playing for the Bighorns, not for yourself, and just sort of trying to do your best for the province rather than your own stats. And I think that would be the best message to send, because a lot of these younger guys, I already know they're as talented as anyone else, but they just gotta play for the team on the front, sort of thing,
Put it all together, absolutely. Like I said, you've repped Alberta before. Take us into that first moment when you walked into the clubhouse and there's your jersey, there's your hat, there's all the swag you need, and it's for Team Alberta.
Yeah, that's a great feeling. I mean, I think my first time playing for Team Alberta would have been 3 or 4 years ago, and the feeling of getting all the swag, shirts, jerseys, it felt pretty surreal. So hopefully it'll be even more of a exciting experience to play on the national scale, like the Summer Games. That would be amazing.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's going to be a unique one too with the games particularly, because it's not your typical baseball only kind of tournament, right? Like, you've got multiple sports. Apparently you guys are going to be living in an athlete's village of sorts. How excited are you to see the different things, maybe do a little bit of sightseeing and meeting some new people from all over the country?
I'm very excited, especially for the multiple sports sort of events. It could and how large of a scale it is. And then living in that sort of, what you said, athletes, or the athlete residence, that would be pretty cool experience to hopefully meet other teams and just other people around the country that, share the same love of sports that we do.
For sure. You've had a pretty busy spring or summer. We've already been talking about it off air a little bit. Fresh off your own Canada Day tournament win as well with Weber Academy. How unreal was that?
That was a great experience. The team, we really bounced back from last year. We had a tough finals loss to the Dawgs in our own tournament last year, but it was great to see the team bounce back. And overall, we had a great weekend. Pitchers only gave up, I think, 8 runs before the final or something like that, and it felt like everyone was contributing. There wasn't one person on the lineup card that didn't contribute to the game, and it was just a great feeling for the program.
Speaking of that program, looking through the Instagram feeds and having kept tabs on you guys for the last few years here, they've really seemed to come together. You've pulled off some big wins or had some really good performances at other tournaments. What makes that group so special in your eyes?
I think it all has to go back to our coaches, Cole Armstrong and Chris Rietzma. I think they do an amazing job of running the program and setting an overall tone of how they want us to play the game. And I think clearly it's worked in the last couple of years. I've only been at Weber for the last 2 years, but even last year, my first season, we won the Dawgs tournament. We were the first team to ever win that tournament on the Mother's Day weekend, and then we also won in the next weekend in Vauxhall. And I think realistically, it all goes back to Cole Armstrong and Chris Rietzma and how they run the program and their expectations of us.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned your pitchers during the Canada Day tournament, and you've got a front row seat for that as one of the catchers on the team. And as I typically do, I nerd out a little bit when it comes to the catching side because I find it such a fascinating position to play. I'm curious, do you like calling your own game, or are you content on letting the coaches do that job?
I love calling my own game because I love sort of the whole idea of being on the same page as your pitcher, and I take pride in trying to build the best relationships I can with each of my pitchers, and I think that builds that extra confidence that the pitcher has to maybe snap off that 3-2 breaking ball or something like that to where they can get it out on a pitch they usually wouldn't. But I just think I like calling the games myself just because I think it builds that bond,
Mm-hmm. Do you find yourself in a more proactive approach behind the plate where you're like, okay, my pitcher's got this stuff going on, so I'm just going to let him do his work? Or I know some catchers will kind of key off things that the batters are doing, like where their feet are, for example, and go, okay, I can get him with this. Or do you kind of mix the two?
I mix the two because in every given day, a pitcher could have different pitches working. So, and then depending on the hitter, that could either be beneficial or detrimental to the pitcher. But I think I base it more off of how the pitcher's feeling because good pitching always beats out good hitting. So if pitcher can make their best pitch, there's a low chance the hitter can make their best swing on it.
For sure. So given that you like to focus on the pitcher side of things, take us into your prep work before a game. Like, how do you get in that mindset? Does it start at the in the bullpen pre-game, or does it even go before that? Walk us through your preparation so you can kind of go in with a pretty solid game plan.
For preparation, I like to spend most of my time pre-game with the starting pitcher. I think that's great, just sort of pick their mind on how they're feeling, what they want to do, because at the end of the day, it's all what the pitcher wants to do. Nothing else really matters. So I like to spend most of my time pregame with the starting pitcher, or even the pitchers that are going to potentially come out of the bullpen. But yeah, I like to spend most of my time with the starting pitcher pregame.
Cool. Like I said, I like nerding out on stuff like that and getting into the mindset stuff, so I appreciate you allowing me that opportunity. Stone, let's get into your baseball past here a little bit. You're a Calgary kid, born and raised. Tell us a little bit about how you got into the game in the first place.
Well, I got into the game at a pretty early age, just pretty standard. Played t-ball for a few years, and then I didn't really get serious about baseball until, I want to say, 15U, and that's where I started with the Calgary Bucks, and I played there for a few years. Had a really good season in my first year of 18U. We went to the finals in the Bale Provincials, and that moment was pretty surreal as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was a great moment. And then came over to Weber 2 years ago, and I think I've found my forever home, so to speak, with the program.
Was it all baseball all the time when you were growing up, or was it were you a multi-sport athlete?
I was a multi-sport guy. I actually took a couple of years off baseball to focus on hockey. I used to be a goalie, and so that was a huge time commitment, especially during the baseball off season. So I didn't really have time to train. So I focused on hockey for a couple of years, but lost my love for it and switched over to baseball, where I think I found a new love for sports.
For sure. When did it turn for you? When did you go, hey, baseball's a fun game, to, hey, baseball, I might have a future in this. I want to chase this as hard as I can?
I think that change would have happened around probably when I was 14, when I first started with the Calgary Bucks. And I think I just fell in love with it and decided, well, this is what I want to spend all my time with. And by the end of that year, had a great year, and thought, well, I probably could go a lot further with this than hockey. So just sort of stuck with it.
Just give it a shot. Looking back on the young career to this point, do you have any favorite memories or moments where you had to take that step back and go, man, I can't believe I get to do this?
I think, well, one of my favorite moments for sure would be winning our home tournament last week. That was a great moment with the team. And then another moment would have to have been the Dawgs tournament last year, winning that with that legendary team we had. I thought that was just one of the best moments of my baseball career, and hopefully I get to have a few more like that.
For sure. Speaking of Weber, what's that program meant to you in your development, not just as a ball player, but also on the human being side of things?
It's meant the world to me. I've met some of my best friends at Weber. The coaches do a great job. Cole is shaping every hitter and person that he gets to work with on his teams, and I think Weber is just the best. I mean, they've done everything for me and the rest of our team, and I think they shape some really great people as well as ball players.
Mm-hmm. We've talked a lot about the good stuff. I'd be remiss, because baseball is a game of failure, to not ask about one of those biggest challenges or hurdles you've had to overcome. When looking back on the young career, do you have one that really sticks out to you that you're super proud of yourself for being able to rise above?
I would say probably getting cut from the Bucks, actually. When I first tried out for them in 13U, I didn't make that team, and I wanted to when I first started playing baseball again. I didn't make that Bucks team, and I just remember going home and going right back into the garage and swinging off the tee. And, the next year came around, and I got invited right as the tryout ended to play for one of their teams, and that's probably one of my proudest moments of just overcoming, the initial adversity.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting because you hear it all the time about kids who get cut from any team and they're just like, okay, time to quit. And you didn't. Why was it that you said, you know what, instead of trying something different, you went, know what, I'm gonna give it my best so I'm there next year?
Well, I think it's just the values that my dad drilled into me. And it's, we have a saying in our family, Fosters never quit. So that sort of always resonated with me. And I just found my love for baseball and training for that off season. And, it was heartbreaking not making that team, but I just decided I didn't want to feel that sort of feeling again. So I went to work and made sure that I'd, make the team the next year.
it's a great example for young kids who think that maybe the dream is over at a certain age, and Stone's proof that it's certainly not. Obviously, you've got a lot of things on the agenda coming up as well. We talked about Canada Summer Games as an example. What else have you got on your itinerary for this summer?
This summer, we're heading to Utah for a tournament, which should be pretty amazing. It's our first time going to the States since we went to Arizona at the start of the year, and I think it'll be good. We've lost a few of our players that have gone to play in the West Coast League in the WIC Bowl, but we're calling up some younger players, and it'll be an exciting time to see how, potentially the next year's prep team will come together and play as a team, not just individuals.
For sure. I know a lot of guys, too, are starting to look ahead to potential college life and that kind of thing. What are you looking for in a school or a program, or maybe on the academic side of things as you look ahead to post-high school life?
I think I'm primarily looking for more of I'd like to go the JUCO route. I'm just looking for potentially a school that has, strong baseball team, of course, and then hopefully some good academics on the side, and a coach that shares the same love of baseball that I do, and hopefully surrounds themselves with players that do the same.
Have you thought at all about what you want to take in school?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty dead set on taking business. That's what my dad did, and he's been the biggest role model in my life for sure. So I think I want to follow in his footsteps.
Not a bad one at all. A couple more for you, Stone, before we let you go. First off, for those kids who are maybe just starting out at Weber, or maybe they're those kids who are watching you at Canada Summer Games and go, man, I want to be like you one day. What's that one piece of advice, those words of wisdom that you'd love to impart upon them?
Well, you just can't give up. That would be the biggest thing. It's hold your head high no matter what, and that's the biggest thing that'll sort of take you the furthest in life. You could be as talented as ever, but if you don't work hard, then you won't get what you want, sort of thing.
Absolutely. The final one we ask everybody here on the show: what does the game of baseball mean to you, Stone?
It means the world to me. Definitely. I don't think I'd be where I'd be in my life without baseball. Just meeting the people that I've met, the relationships I've built. I don't think I'd be the person I am without sports, and especially baseball. And, yeah, I just think the game of baseball totally means the world to me.
Well, it's meant the world to us to get to know a little bit about your journey as well, Stone. Congratulations on all the success you've had at this point. Continued success with Team Alberta, the Wildcats, and beyond. And again, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Thank you very much for having me. It was an honor to be on this show.
Thanks again to Zane Skansi, Ethan Menard, Brooke Forslund, and Stone Foster for joining us this week. And thanks to all of you for downloading and listening. If you like this or any other episode, don't forget to leave us a rating and a review on your podcast app. A programming note: with the WCBL All-Star Game coming up this weekend, we'll have 2 episodes coming out next week. Like we usually do, one will be focused on the players, and the other will be on some of the newsmakers and special guests in Okotoks. So stay tuned and subscribe where you can. A tip of the cap, as always, to our Platinum supporters for all they do for us and for the game in our province. The Okotoks Dawgs, Western Canadian Baseball League, and Under the Lights Sports and Entertainment have been integral in helping us tell the game stories in Alberta. For more on our tremendous teammates, head to albertadugoutstories.com/supporters. Until next time, thank you for all of your support online, on social, and on air of Alberta Dugout Stories.